Sage 50 Cloud Pastel Accounting topic webinar. Today our topic is on Sage Intelligence and Sage Intelligence common errors specifically. Now guys, in order to understand what errors we get while using Sage Intelligence, we need to know what Sage Intelligence is. And Sage Intelligence is basically an advanced reporting module that uses Excel. So you can go and customize those Excel templates, but you will need to have installed your intelligence reporting. Now, when you go to your intelligence reporting, if I hopefully do click on anything, it's going to advise me that I do need to install this. So guys, it doesn't come pre-installed in 50 Cloud. You are going to have to go to our pastelupdate.sagesouthafrica.co.za. And then guys, you're going to go to additional downloads, sorry, my mistakes, modules and applications. And you're going to see that you have Sage Intelligence for Partner and Sage Intelligence for Express, and that is for version 19 as well as version 18. So guys, you please need to make sure that you're downloading the correct one. So if you opened Express, please download Express, and if you opened Partner, please download Partner. It's about 85 megabytes, and guys, you don't have to close Pastel, but I prefer to do so just to make sure that nothing goes wrong and that it does in fact install correctly. So as you saw, mine specifically said no reports, which meant I couldn't click on anything, but that's also a very big indicator that it's probably not installed, or brings us to one of our first most common errors, which is it'll be installed, but it's going to say no reports. Now, either you've installed the wrong ones, so you might have installed Express when you're running Partner, or Partner when you're running Express, or you may have downloaded the wrong version or have an older version installed. So always make sure that you have the latest version of Sage Intelligence installed. And if that does happen, guys, where you do in fact do it, so this is 2.00, this is for Sage 50, and it's for Partner. Now, if I know that I have a different version installed, I can go and uninstall that. But let's say that everything is actually installed and it's telling you no reports. What you're going to need to do is on the machine where you are getting told that, so not on the server per se, but on the machine where you are being told that. If we go and check, for example, in this case, because it's Partner, Pastel 19, if it's Express, you go to Express 19, and you go to Custom, guys, you should have a Sage Intelligence folder. Now, if you don't have that folder, it's definitely not installed, but if you have that folder and you don't have any custom reports in that folder, we strongly advise that you delete the folder. If you do have custom reports, we advise that you rename it to .old. And if you rename it to .old, when you install your Sage Intelligence again, it should recreate that folder. If it's renamed, either deleted or .old. The .old is if you have custom reports, just so that you can copy them over. So some people put the Excel templates that they've customized into that folder. It often is saved in that folder. Your other actual reports, you'll just need to re-import because you're going to change the whole folder right now. So if you do have custom reports, guys, you're probably going to need to re-import those. And hopefully this is happening on a workstation, so it shouldn't matter. Everything should be saved on this server. But as a single user, those are things you need to be aware of. You then are just going to double click to run the installation. So next, you're going to accept the terms. And guys, this is a pretty quick installation, so it doesn't take very long. It's normally pretty quick. Of course, because I said that, Murphy's Law, it's now taking forever. Like by this time, guys, it's normally done, actually. So I don't know what's happened, but it took a while to kick in. And we're done. So guys, as I said, that should then create the Sage Intelligence folder. Now here, guys, please don't remove anything here, but a lot of the time I've seen where people will come and put the Excel files in this folder. A lot of the time they also just put it into custom, and it wasn't reg. I've seen it in multiple different places, guys, but sometimes it's just straight here. Sometimes it's in Sage Intelligence called custom folder or called templates. If you have templates saved, it'll be in templates. So that's just something to bear in mind. Now, guys, hopefully, if I restart my partner, I will now have my reports. So guys, this is all that we normally do if it says no reports. We just uninstall, make sure we're on the latest version. Now, there are also other things to consider. So hopefully this will work. But if this doesn't, there are things like UAC, the user account control, needs to be turned off. Your .NET framework needs to be fully installed. Okay, so guys, I've got a question. What reports are installed in the customer Sage Intelligence directory? Because by default, thank you, I didn't have templates. I am right. It is in registrations templates. Regrettably, I have no idea. That's probably something that you need to speak to Sage Intelligence about. As I said, they do have their own team. I have absolutely no idea what's installed in that directory at all. I know that a lot of the stuff that is in this specific directory is everything that makes Sage Intelligence run. So guys, in terms of that specific directory, I do not know. So guys, this specific directory, this is what makes your Sage Intelligence run. If this is not here or they are missing files, you're going to have an issue. But unfortunately, in the location that you're mentioning, I don't know. I did remember that the templates were somewhere. Unfortunately, I had uninstalled everything, so it does remove everything, specifically to show you the install. Okay, so guys, hopefully, if I now go here, it's going to give me all of my reports. So guys, 9 out of 10 times that absolutely works. You uninstall, you download the correct version, you rename that folder, you delete that folder. And I think that's why they actually put it in registrations, the templates folder, because this is how we fix this issue. And a lot of the time people don't want to lose their templates, but I have seen people put them in that folder, and you should see this. But guys, as I said, my video on, how to avoid common errors and stuff, which is normally your error code 20, your 161, your 116, but also issues with Sage Intelligence. Please go and watch that video because it deals with turning off the user account control. It deals with ensuring .NET is fully updated. It deals with the fact that your Windows updates need to be fully updated. Guys, Windows often, when they do Windows updates, it's got a .NET kind of tie-in, and if that is frozen, there's a problem. So you do need to make sure that that is done. Guys, I'm not going to answer all of your questions all at once. I am going to complete what I'm talking about, and then I'll come back to your questions. So guys, if we then look at that, that should resolve this, and you should then be able to run your reports. So if I now want to go into my report manager, this is where you can actually come and import your report. So this is what you would use to import, and guys, we will do that when we actually do an overview. But the report manager is where you're going to import reports, where you can create custom reports, and I'm never going to teach you how to customize a report because I don't know how. That is something that you need to either get a report writer to do, or you need to go for training on how to customize Sage Intelligence reports. Much like, guys, I'm never going to teach you how to do data fixing. That's something that you will need to be trained on. So a lot of the time we do get people asking when we're going to do those. Never. Okay, no problem. So guys, a question that I wasn't sure about was just, it was exactly that. The Sage Intelligence directory is for the parameters to make the program run. That's what it contains. I have seen people put their templates in there just because they want to keep the whole of Sage Intelligence together, but that is not standard. It's not standard where it is. As you can see Pastel custom registration on my screen is where the metadata repository location is. So basically what it's saying is it's basically saying that is where the templates, the Excel templates are normally saved to, and part of the reason is because of the fix that I showed you with no reports. But guys, this is where you can come and import, and you can do your bulk imports. Those would be for those, either the free reports that some people have written and put on the Sage Intelligence website that you can go and import, or when you have requested a report to be customized and written for you. So if we go back to our actual Sage Intelligence reports, these are the custom report. These are our standard reports, guys. So these are the standard reports that we have. And then if you select a report, and normally what's quite common is the management pack. Guys, every time it's the first time you're running a report, you should be told after you've made your selection. So let's do 13 and go OK. Hopefully it should come up telling you it's the first time you're running the report, unless mine remembers that I've done this. Okay, so guys, mine is actually working perfectly fine. It remembers that I did this. I was hoping it would bring up to create the database link, but I didn't actually remove my link from PCC, so that's probably still there. And as you can see, it runs into Excel and we can see it. But now guys, on occasion, what happens is you try to run a report and it tells you that it needs to create a link. You say yes to run that link, and just to show you what that looks like, guys, I'm going to quickly go into the KB. sagekb.com. Guys, my wonderful assistant and my other half, Nancy, is currently answering your questions. So she will advise you if it's something that we have a solution for, if we're not covering it in this webinar, or she will advise you where you can go and ask that question to Sage City. But guys, basically, Sage Intel. Now guys, if this comes up like this, you'll see that it's selecting everything. Now that happens a lot, and then people downvote some of the articles because it's not for their product. Guys, that's because you didn't select a product. So please select a product, and then hopefully the information will come up. So guys, here you can see how to download Sage Intelligence, how to import intelligence using reporting. And then you've got like the home pane missing. And the other one, which I was hoping would actually come up a lot quicker, is the auto connection failed. So guys, auto connection failed. Okay, so guys, I've got a question with regards to, I'm getting the following error. User login is only permitted to use Sage 50 Pastel partner from a workstation. Can I ask, is this a Sage Intelligence question or just an issue that you're getting in general? Because if it's an issue that you're getting in, when starting the report manager. So guys, I have seen this come up. It's not a common error. This is actually a very uncommon error. We've seen it a couple of times, but either it's because your user is not actually an admin user. It is because Windows has corrupted. So you have two options in those two cases. Create another Windows user that is actually admin or belongs to the admin group. And guys, I mean this with respect. I really do. I'm not trying to be difficult to IT guys, but often IT guys will be like, they're an admin, and they're really not. Like when I say I want them to be part of the admin group, I don't mean kind of give them permissions and be like, yeah, they have enough. I'm telling you to make them part of the admin group. So I've seen it in domains where they're not. And it's like, well, they kind of have the permissions. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not asking for kind of. And I do get why IT guys do it, guys. They are trying to protect you. They're not trying to be difficult, but they need to understand there are certain things that will not run. So if you're getting this error, make sure, guys, please give me a second. Apologies for that disruption. So guys, in this instance, there are a couple of things that you need to kind of check. Apparently it was a defect, but I've actually seen it recently. Oh, no, sorry, need to check if a defect was logged on this. No. To my knowledge, it wasn't. The times that I've seen this, and I will double check with the other two product specialists, but guys, the times that I've seen this is honestly, it's more a case that Windows has the issue than that it's actually the system itself. So it's normally on a specific machine. If that is not the case, then in this instance, this is a very specific issue. It's very uncommon, and you need to go through to support so that they can assist you fully. It's not a common Sage Intelligence error, but it is to do with Windows. It's probably in the registry. It's either in that user's registry where it's corrupted, which basically computer name they can use. And you can try to remove registry keys, but we haven't seen which registry key it is. So you can try to rather create another user, and you can see if that user will work. Otherwise, you need to format your machine and start again. Guys, those are the only answers that we have for that. And the reason that I gave them to you is because it's pretty quick. However, getting back to common errors, guys, common errors, we've got the auto connection failed. It is probably the most common Sage Intelligence error. And so this is what I'm talking about. This comes up, a connection to your Pastel database needs to be created. Now, guys, the first thing that you need to be aware of is if you are a multi-user, this needs to be run from the server, first off. You can't create this connection on a workstation if the server's never created it. And going no one works on the server doesn't matter. It has to be run on the server. Whether you have to remote desktop onto that server, TeamViewer onto that server, any desk onto that server, you have to run it on the server first in a multi-user environment. Once you've done that, you can run it from the workstation fine. But guys, if you are trying this on a workstation, it doesn't matter. If you follow this whole article, you're going to continue to get the error. Now, this was also a very common error if you were running client server and you had version 13. You were only able to run this on the sorry guys, I'm just trying to see here. You were only able to run it on the server. You couldn't run it if you were running client server version 13 on the workstations. Guys, that has been resolved, but you do need to be on 19.3.4 in order for that to work. And guys, again, I'm going to explain why you need to be on 19.3.4, and that is for the digit signing certificate that tells Windows that Sage 50 Cloud is a legitimate and safe program. So I've had a lot of people, do I really have to upgrade? Guys, it's a mandatory update. The answer is yes. When do I need to upgrade? Now. You need to do it now. So people have, when does the certificate expire? Guys, it doesn't matter. You need to do it now. It's a mandatory update. Going, I'm going to put it off is not going to work. It's mandatory. You need to do it. Please do it. And that's why I'm not saying which build. The version 13 was actually corrected on because you need to be on 19.3.4. But guys, that is resolved, so you shouldn't get this anymore. You need to run it from the workstation, from the server first, and then the workstation. Now, guys, sometimes that doesn't work. So you try, and it's going to give you either a -124 error. It's going to tell you it failed. Like, you get a number of things. So it'll tell you solution 1 is view intelligent reporting, run report, select the report you want to run, select no to run the report as an administrator, and then check yes to the data link. So here you're saying you want to run as an admin. Sometimes doing this works. Guys, most of the time what I find works is actually adding it in PCC. So normally in this instance, you've checked the server's fine, maybe the workstation isn't, or maybe the server itself can't create this link, in which case no workstation can. Guys, if you're a single user, that just means that you need to go with us. I personally, by default, will create the database. And guys, as you can see, I have a number of databases created. But guys, you need to create it very specifically. So here you can see I've got PAS19 demo. And guys, that's how you're going to have to create it. So let's say whatever company you're in. So I'm going to use this. Vite 2021 would not run. I'm not going to go in there, guys. It is a client's data, but let's say that wasn't working. In this instance, and you're going to do this on the server and on the workstation. You're going to go in, you're going to select, you're going to go to databases, and you're going to go new database. The database name is PAS. It's then the version. So in my case, 19. And then it is the folder name. So in this case, Vite 2021. So then you will navigate to where this is saved. So guys, if you are on a workstation, you will go via the map drive. If you're on the server, you're going to go in your C drive. You're going to go into your company and you're going to select the database. Guys, I do not create the 32-bit. The reason for that is because my IT do not allow this through my firewall and my antivirus. You do not have to have the DSN option ticked. If you can without errors, fantastic. But if you get errors, and I normally do, and if it doesn't do it, I'm going to be really upset, which it's not today. So obviously my machine is doing something different. Maybe Windows Update solved it, guys. But basically, if you get an error, untick that option and it should create. And guys, then you'll see it here. So all of these are companies where I've run Sage Intelligence into. But this, it has to be done this way, guys. You can't just call it, for example, Vite or KBS 2022. If you try to run this again, it's not going to work. It has to have the PAS and the version. So if it's 18, it's going to be PAS 18. And you're going to add it that way. And guys, honestly, I find that that does work. Like 9 out of 10, 95% of the time you do that. And guys, this is what works. Now, yes, you can go and verify your DDF file paths and verify the DAT paths. That is very important to do that. But guys, if you've then added it in PCC, it should actually all be. And I do find that in most cases that works if the company is in PCC. So if it's here, guys, and it's not working, delete it, remove it. Remove all of it, that and the DDFs, and then add it back. So sometimes it is because those paths have gone wonky, things have gone wrong. So guys, in that case, don't go, oh, it's there. No, remove it and then add it back, reconnect it. And then try. Now, guys, a lot of the time when we do this, these are the same steps that we are going to give to you for bad file name and number. Now, guys, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So a lot of the time, I do find that that does work, but then I've also had times where we've tried all of this and it doesn't. And guys, sometimes the problem is actually to do with Excel. Sometimes the problem is to do with your Sage Intelligence. And then you might need to come in and just have a look, see if you actually change the Excel name. So guys, here you can see that we can't change anything. So we would need to lock or unlock this. Now, unlocking it requires a password. We do not have the password. So what we advise that you do is you create a copy of this report rather, and you recreate it as a copy. So rather copy it in order to make the changes. And it does tell you to please make a copy. And then once you've made the copy, guys, you can then go and change things in your report manager. So as you can see, right click on the report and select copy. Right click on a folder where you want to actually place it. Select paste and you'll have a copy. And guys, if you go in, you can then see that now everything is available. Columns, your filters, your parameters, your sort fields, and your fabricate. I don't advise really playing in it if you don't know. But guys, here you can see the information. If you want to show advanced, you can. It will give you the advanced. But here you can also see what the template is called. And from here, you can check, is that template okay? Where is it saved? And should I save this as a different template to use? And this is where you would actually change your templates and which ones you want to use. So guys, that's over here, and that's in Report Manager itself. Then guys, the connector, that's something that you would need to purchase, and then you can report download community, which will take you to where some people have been kind enough to upload free reports. So guys, those are two of the most common. As I said, there is also the bad file name or number. Generally, we do a combination of step 1 and step 2, where we will totally uninstall everything, remove everything, but we will also remove the databases in PCC. So basically, we'll do something like this. Go help, about, and I've got to remember a Control-Alt. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to remember the exact command. I do apologize. Okay, that's Tax Manager. I thought it was D, but I could be wrong. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to ask Nancy. Nancy, do you remember what that's meant to be, to remove all the databases? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. If I remember, I will let you all know. I know that it was a combination of a couple of things. There we go. There's Control, Alt, Shift, and I think that was C. Okay, so guys, it's Control, Alt, Shift, and C. And what this will do is this will remove all the pervasive engine DSNs from the computer. So it'll remove all of that. And you can then try to just run the reports in the company databases themselves and see if it'll automatically create it. Or you can go into PCC and create the names as per the folders. So basically, yes, it's going to remove them. Or you can go into PCC and do it manually. So Control, Alt, Shift, and C on your computer all together at the same time from going to Help About. So guys, as I said, the bad file name and number, I would try a combination of the first solution and the second solution. So basically a combination of the no reports and then when you can't create the link. I would try a combination of those two. So uninstalling everything, removing all of the company names from PCC, Pervasive Control Center. For those of you who kept asking, what is PCC? It's the Pervasive Control Center. And guys, try that and see if that works. If that doesn't work, please get hold of support so that we can log in and have a look. It could be your Windows, much like this computer is locked to only this PC. that error. It could be something to do with the registry, in which case you need to create new Windows user, make sure that they are administrator, make sure the UAC is turned off, make sure your .NET is fully enabled, and check if that works. So guys, those are some of the most common issues within Pastel and just running Sage Intelligence. Then guys, sometimes you will have stuff in Excel. And normally this is where certain things are disabled. Now this can sometimes happen when you have a Windows update. And guys, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go into your Excel so your add-ins aren't running. You're getting errors, and you're going to need to go into the options, and you're going to need to go and check into your add-ins. But guys, you're going to need to check this for your BI generator. So here you can see both of mine are obviously fine, but these are the two most common that cause the issue. And this happens when these are not added. We also advise that you check your COM add-ins as well as your, so it's mostly those two, Excel add-ins and your COM add-ins. And guys, you want to tick the option of what you need. And you do that by going to File, Options, Add-ins, and it's normally the COM add-ins, and you're just going to tick what you need to be there. But you need to make sure that they obviously are running okay. Then guys, you may also need to just check the Trust Center and make sure that the Trust Center settings are set up correct. Now guys, I can't actually tell you what this should be. Like, this is dependent on your IT, but please bear in mind that obviously Sage Intelligence does have add-ins, and you need to check those add-ins. So here you would come to your add-ins, you would check your add-ins, and you would check your ActiveX settings, and you're going to check your macro settings. And guys, you're going to make sure that the stuff here is set up correctly for the fact that Pastel is a third-party application. If you don't know what they should be, chat to your IT. But mostly, guys, just selecting the add-ins and making sure that the add-ins are all set up correctly. You can go through all of them and check if there's anything about, you know, Sage Intelligence, but generally it's just the Excel add-ins and the COM add-ins. And if you enable those, that should allow the report to run. Now, when we know that it's not Pastel is when you actually run a report. And guys, I don't know if I'll be able to demo this because obviously all of my stuff is running fine. And these are not errors that we can just recreate on command. You know, it's something that kind of happens due to things going a little bit hinky. But okay, here a connection needs to be created. So here you could either say no to try as an administrator, press yes. You could say no and then run the data, or you can say yes and then just say yes. Now guys, it's going to tell me that it already exists. So do I want to overwrite this? And guys, as someone pointed out, the reason that that happened, and thank you for pointing that out, is because my demo has an underscore and I didn't put that in. So I didn't actually create the database correctly at all. I missed that. And in this instance, this is where you're going to come. It's going to still tell you to create it. And you're going to be like, but I did. Guys, go and make sure that you didn't make that mistake. I'm a specialist and I absolutely made that mistake. Thank you so much. I did hope this would happen after I saw your comments. And guys, it wasn't something I did on purpose. Please bear that in mind. It was an error. Like, I went on about being exact and I myself was not exact. So you're going to do this. I'm going to say yes to both. And it should hopefully create that link without issues. Now, at this point, if you get told, hey, it still can't create the link, guys, go and double check that you didn't do what I did and set up the wrong thing in PCC, that you did create an exact actual PCC database name. Now, if we go, okay, guys, please don't freak out and go, the report didn't run. Those of you who don't know Sage Intelligence, that's perfectly normal. It doesn't do it the first time. You have to run the reports again for a second time. And guys, because I messed up that link, for every report that I now run, new reports, that is going to come up until I've said yes for all the reports. Now, guys, here you see it running on the side. Now, at some point here, creating Excel workbook. Anytime after this, if you get an error, that's in Excel, guys. That actually is in Excel. And I'm not talking about, hey, the data pulled from Pastel is wrong, 0 columns, that type of thing. Guys, that's a totally different scenario. There are things that we need to check there specifically. We'll need to check the data, that type of thing. I'm talking about, you know, it pops out an error that I can't generate this in Excel. So, you know, it's not creating it. You can't come in here and actually select income or balance sheet. It's totally bombing out. That, in that case, that is normally Excel and the add-ins and a problem, and you need to check and make sure that it's all correct. So guys, those are generally the most common things that actually happen. As I said, I wasn't going to go through too many very, very common things. It was just a common thing here and there. Those are the 3 most common. That is generally why we get phone calls. The other reasons are then, hey, I pulled this report and it doesn't look correct. Why isn't it correct? And guys, sometimes that's because the person has customized their Excel template and it didn't change the stuff. And, you know, then you have to check, okay, if I cut this customized Excel template that I changed, because guys, you can now come here and you can change things. You can change it up in Excel, you can save this, and that is what your reports will run on. So if you want to create a pie chart from here, you can. So please bear that in mind. But if you've done that and suddenly your information isn't pulling, the step here is to basically go back to the standard Excel report and see, okay, on the standard report, does it pull my information correctly? Because maybe you changed one of the filters in Excel. So here we've got lookup, and maybe you altered that accidentally. So it's not doing the lookup anymore. So it can't run the information correctly. So if you've altered your Excel templates, that's often a case. The other scenario is that there may be a problem in your actual data set itself. Maybe there's actually data corruption. We need to get the data in. So guys, there are a number of reasons why the reports will pull inaccurately, and there's no standard solution to that. In that case, we still advise that you please get hold of us at support@sage.com so we can look into the reasons why it can happen. But something to bear in mind: did you customize your Excel template? Did you save that? Could you have changed how it's actually looking up? Like, for example, where is all of the raw material? Did you maybe tell it to delete that? Did you tell it to put it on a different page and doesn't understand that? So go back, create a copy, as I said, of the report maybe, and use the standard report. So guys, a lot of the time I actually advise people to go into their report manager, and on all of the reports, actually just copy them and rather run the copies and leave your actual reports, the standard reports, with everything standard. So you know, oh, I've got a problem with this report. Let me go and run the report that I couldn't change at all, and let me see, is it because I changed the Excel template, or is there actually a problem with the report? So that you've got 2 reports to run from. So I'll run the copy. Normally, I'll change my copy of Sales Master template to be what I want. So this one, and this will still just be my standard report. If I see I've got a problem with that information, I can run this and see, is it the template or is it actually the report itself? And then I can get hold of either Sage Intelligence, Pastel, and say, guys, what's potting? I don't know what's happening here. So guys, I'm going to look at a couple of your questions, and hopefully Nancy's answered all of those. The ones that she hasn't answered, I will then happily go through. Okay, we did cover what's in the Sage Intelligence directory. So guys, it's basically what makes Sage Intelligence run. Can you save your files in the client's file on your computer and not in Sage? Guys, I'm so sorry to whoever wrote that. I don't think I'm understanding what you are asking. When you say, can you save your file, are you asking about the Excel template? So can you maybe save that, for example, in documents in a file called Sage Intelligence? Is that what you're asking? Please let me know so that I can answer that, because like that's kind of open to interpretation what you're asking me. Guys, technically, could you save your reports anywhere? Yeah, I suppose that you could. I mean, I've got Sage Intelligence reports saved right here in my documents. And these are all of my AI reports. So I can do that, but it means that I am the only one who can run this on my computer, because this is where it's saved. So if you're in a client server or a workstation server environment, we kind of advise that you rather keep this within Pastel. And the reason for that is you're going to kind of tell it like everyone wants to run on the same Excel template. And if people don't all have access to that folder, that's going to be a problem. I don't know if that makes sense. You just need to obviously then tell it via the report manager where the Excel template is and where to find the reports. But in a multi-user environment, guys, I actually strongly advise that you keep everything in Pastel. Like, you don't have to keep it in a Sage Intelligence folder, but I strongly advise in Pastel in the company folder just for ease of use. But please just clarify if I've understood that correctly. Okay, guys, for the management packs, a really awesome tip from one of our really awesome BPs is to, and if my BP wants me to mention his name, please let me know. Guys, I don't mention your names because I don't want to embarrass anyone or make anyone go, yo, I didn't give you permission to do that. But guys, if you want me to call your names out, please let me know. But one of our really awesome BPs has said, please save the management packs as XLSM files. If you want to save future templates, or else, guys, you're going to lose your macros. So that is a very good tip. Thank you so much for that. I didn't even think of that, but guys, please XLSM, otherwise you're going to lose all your macros. So what the connector does is, guys, I've been asked, what does a Sage Intelligence Report connector actually do? Guys, the connector is where you can change the timeout, and the connector is also what you need if you're going to write reports. So the connector basically allows you to see the data containers, and you can then write your own reports if you know how to do that, but you need to purchase the connector. But that's what it's there for. So more than that, I can't even explain to you. That's how it's been explained to me. And guys, I've never actually used the connector, to be honest. I do have another colleague who is phenomenally good at creating Sage Intelligence reports, and she herself has used the connector and she's tried to show it to me, but it's not something that I generally use, but that's what it's used for. It's mostly used to design your own reports, and from that we mean from scratch. So not, altering Excel or, coming into, so for example, guys, here you can come into Sage Intelligence and you can go into your report manager. The connector is very different. So sometimes people are like, oh, I create my own reports because I come in here and into my copy, I can go, for example, to parameters, and I can kind of tell it greater than or equal to this or that, because I want to change my report to maybe only show my credit notes. Like, guys, you can do that here by using this and understanding what these things are saying. Guys, it's fairly logical. Like, in my opinion, if you read this, it's kind of like a greater than or equal to a specific thing. Yes, maybe you do need to understand your data tables a bit better. And guys, in this way, we have amazing business partners who can help you. But guys, this is not the same as creating a report from scratch and creating a data container. So guys, very quickly, and this is something we're going to go over next year, and this might excite some people, it might make other people go, why? But guys, we're going to specifically talk about your Export 32 EXE. And guys, you want to know what we're talking about when we're talking about data containers. Guys, all of these are data containers. So basically, this is a visual way of me showing you what a data container is. So when you have reports that are written, the person can use the connector to go and specify which data containers they want to pull information from. So they can go, okay, I want to use the customer master, and from the customer master, I want to pull a customer code, a customer description, and I want to pull this year sales, this year credit notes, and this year running total or whatever. And guys, they then can pull that specific thing against a specific data container. And that's what the connector does. It allows you to specify which containers you're going to use to write those reports. Okay then guys, I've had some nice info posted where to increase the timeouts, you can use the PL config. Yes, you absolutely can. So guys, if you're getting a timeout error, it's also actually quite a common one. I actually had totally forgotten about it, and I apologize for that. But a quick way to change your timeouts is to navigate to your Pastel folder, go into your custom and go into Sage Intelligence, and there's something called a PL config file. That is this file. And guys, basically you can change your timeouts here. Now guys, the reason I mentioned the connector is if you've tried this solution and it's not working, you may need the connector in order to force that. So it's kind of a, hey, this really awesome thing that we did didn't work. And now I need like the Uber version of this. So guys, this is if your things are timing out, it's giving you a timeout error. This is the first place we tell you to go, PL config on the machine that's getting the timeout and to run it here. Obviously guys, if you're running client server, please do all of this on the server. If you're running workgroup guys, it's on the machine that you're getting the error. But guys, I would do this on the workstations and the server, to be honest. And honestly, you might as well just increase the timeouts. But yeah, you do it here, but you do also sometimes need the connector to correct that. That is a very, very rare timeout issue though. Guys, if I'm not reading your questions, it's probably because Nancy's already answered you. I'm only reading the ones that don't have an answer. Okay, guys, so someone's really happy that we are going to teach you about the export 32. So guys, a lot of people actually don't know about that facility. A lot of people don't know that you can actually export that information, which is your information, from PCC into Excel. I mean, guys, this is a phenomenal utility that so many people don't know about. I mean, you can literally go and export that stuff and double check your information. So this is really an awesome little utility, but I'm not going to run through all of the stuff. We are going to go through that next year. And I mean, guys, yeah, it's a very, very awesome little thing that is very well hidden. So I don't blame you for not knowing about it. I myself actually didn't know about it for years. I only found it after being a specialist when someone was using it to run reports. And I was like, what are you talking about? You use this thing? And I started to play with it, and it's actually very cool. So guys, again, what a lot of people are aware of is they can use Microsoft Office Integration Data Analysis, which is also quite a cool little tool that a lot of people don't use. I prefer the X32 over this. Now, this actually does pull from the X32, but I prefer actually running it from the X32 function. Okay, guys, are there any more questions? Just, I know that it's very basic Sage Intelligence stuff, but guys, 9 out of 10 times those are the errors that come up. The timeout, the auto connect, and the no reports. And guys, like I see those come up over and over and over. We ourselves actually have an SOS group where the agents SOS me and my other 2 counterparts. And 9 out of 10 times, guys, the Sage Intelligence errors that we are getting are, hey, I've got a timeout. Normally it's auto connect, to be 100% honest. Like guys, that comes up like 9 out of 10 times. Or it is, you know, the no reports. Those two make the majority of our Sage Intelligence calls. Then guys, we get the very specific ones. Guys, so something to do with the export 32, because I know you guys are keen to try it. You guys are asking, what is the password when you use it? Guys, the password to use the export 32 is the admin password for the company you're using. So guys, if you are going to connect to the demo, what you're going to do is you're going to go in, you're going to select demo, and the password is demo, all lowercase. Double click to open the demo, sorry. Otherwise, it won't let you put it in. And you're going to say demo. Guys, I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but it's always the password for the company that you're going in, and it should be a supervisor password. So I can't tell you what these are because I'd have to go and look them up. Those are clients' data, but this is why you would need to know that password. So guys, it's not a password Pastel has given you, it is the password of that company. Supervisor password. Guys, in closing, like I did say, if you do have errors, not the ones that we've gone through, I wish I could do more in depth, but guys, a lot of the time we don't have, we don't always have the knowledge for Sage Intelligence. As I said, there is a team that does this. Guys, if you go into sagecity.com, there is a Sage Intelligence forum here, and they do answer that. If they're not being timiest, guys, let us know, and we can always escalate on our side. There is also a Sage Intelligence site, but guys, honestly, we find this actually works better than going onto the site. If you need to get a report writer, you can go to the Sage Intelligence website. So Sage Intel, hopefully I'll find it. But guys, over here, if you go into your forums, honestly, write it in here, Sage 50cloud, Pastel Intelligence. And guys, generally we answer here. And if you're not getting an answer here, you can let us know and we can escalate on our side. So supportsa@sage.com, and we can escalate to Sage Intelligence to please help you and advise. Guys, also look up that it hasn't maybe been answered. Then guys, if we look for the Sage Intelligence site, it is sageintelligence.com. And guys, you can go to the resources. So on the resources, they do have their own tips and tricks. You do have a knowledge base, and here you have report writers. So if you want to get hold of a report writer, guys, please make sure that it does say 50cloud Pastel. So in America, we do have Sage 50. In the UK, we do have Sage 50. But if you get hold of one of these guys, they're going to write for a program that you're not going to be able to use. So it needs to say Sage 50 Pastel. That is for our Pastel accounting. But you can come look for report writers here. Guys, you can also use the knowledge base. So if it's an error I haven't discussed, I do find that the knowledge base can be quite helpful. Apparently they've removed their KB. It was up, it's now down again. Guys, the site does have some issues. If it's up, it's awesome. You can also go to their tips and tricks. And guys, this is also where you can check additional reports. Now, they're not a lot here, but there are some. And maybe instead of you having to pay someone to write you a report, you can come and have a look at some of these. So as you can see, guys, there were a couple of reports and then not many others. But you can come and check these out. You can download and import them for free, and it's really cool. Otherwise, guys, I strongly advise that you post your questions on our Sage Intelligence reporting on Sage City, and those experts will get hold of you. And then, guys, as I said, we do have step-by-step articles on some of the other suggested solutions in our KB, so sagekb.com. As I said, guys, you're absolutely welcome to type in your question on the search answers, but remember, it's going to search everything. So what I like to actually do is to specifically go into the product that I want it to be searched on, and then, for example, go Sage Sorry guys, I struggle to actually spell intelligence, so I just don't, to be honest. I always want to put an I or two E's, and I don't want to waste your time. So guys, from here you can see, you know, what do I have for Sage Intelligence, how to import Sage Intelligence using Report Manager. The home pane is missing on Sage Intelligence, so this isn't a very common error, but it does come up now and again. How do I resolve that? And guys, you can look here, like auto connect failed, and hopefully it'll be here. If it's not, let us know, and we can always upload it if we have an answer. And then guys, to find our YouTube channel, which I did promise to you guys, you can go to YouTube. And guys, what you're going to search for is Sage Customer Support and Training. So guys, please don't search for Sage 50C. That is the old channel I used to use, and I haven't uploaded to that since like last year, October. So we're talking about a year now. So it's not up to date, guys. Please look for Customer Support and Training. That's this one here. And then guys, obviously this is a global site. So this is going to have X3, it's going to have North America, it's going to have UK and Ireland, Germany, France. You're looking for Sage Africa and Middle East. And then guys, you can search through Africa and Middle East. Normally I'm the first click over. Please don't go play all, because what it's going to do is it's going to start playing immediately. Click on view full playlist. Now guys, while I'm sure that all of you would love to watch a 3-week Sage video, which is probably how long you would be sitting here. We've got 173 videos. I doubt that you probably are going to just sit and consume the whole playlist. So in this way, you can literally come and kind of go through and look for what you're looking for. Now guys, the webinars, I do put them as sorry, I need to just change these. I see I put recording, not recording. I will go and edit those. It should say recording of live webinar. And guys, those should be here. But generally what you're looking for is you're looking for the webinars that are, or the videos that are over an hour. So someone said that they really want to know more about Forms Designer. Guys, I strongly advise, I don't know if I've put this year's video up, but and I didn't say it was a recording of a webinar, but it should be one of the first ones that I actually uploaded. And it should say, how do I customize my documents? How do I design my own documents using Forms Designer? It's 51 minutes long. And guys, this gives you a pretty in-depth view, and it's very similar to the one I ran this year. I am trying to convert all of them, guys. Unfortunately, it takes me quite a while to convert these 2 videos because it has to run through like an hour, 2 hours of information. But that's where you can find it. It is up here. That's what it's called. Then, guys, how do you download an existing report in Excel, more than one on the same spreadsheet, create a union report? Okay, so guys, that needs to be in the overview, because now we're getting into like overview territory, to be very, very fair. And I haven't done this in a while, to be very honest. So Nance, do you have a way of answering that without me kind of mucking about right now? Because guys, a union report is obviously what the management report is. And to create takes a bit of time.
Yeah, so I was thinking she's referring more to the management pack report, because it allows you to do that. You can run your income statement, your balance sheet, and it all shows on the different sheets, but not necessarily going out of the management pack. So maybe run it for her now so she can see if that's what she's referring to. Otherwise, yeah, Johan May says you can create union reports. So that sounds more like a customization that needs to be done. But again, he can just confirm that for us.
Yeah, so guys, generally, like from what I remember, obviously I do a lot of prep before these webinars on what I'm going to talk about so that I don't look like an idiot. And that's obviously not something that I prepped for at this point. But from what I remember about doing this, because base is my main thing, is that basically like these are your union reports. So you can see that they are made up of multiple reports. Here's my copy. And basically it's where you kind of combine a whole bunch of reports together. And here you can see your union sub. So it's saying what you are putting together. And it's at this point where you literally creating the report here that you would need to kind of do this stuff. So it's probably a little outside of what we normally do, to be honest. Like this is again where you'd probably need to go for some very extensive Sage Intelligence training. The training that they give, guys, again, I know that it is available on Sage University, and it will probably explain to you exactly how to combine these all together. But you're going to need to obviously set up the properties, set up the union sub reports, set up all of the different information in order for those reports to run properly. So again, you've got your instructions and all of that stuff. So it's to a large extent, it's very similar to actually creating a customized report, which guys, we don't actually train you on, to be honest. So it is here that you would do it. And I can see if I can brush up my knowledge enough to be able to do that next year. But I'm definitely not confident to be able to run it right now. But it is where you have multiple Excel reports. So as you can see in the management here, it's got your union sub reports. And that's why it pulls those all together. I don't know if that helps explain it a little bit. But guys, basically it's in line with like customizing reports, which we generally don't assist with. Okay, guys, I am trying to just check because a lot of info came through there. I think people are trying to help me to answer that question. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure again. Completely new installation. Okay. Will you send us a link to download the video? Sorry, yes, you should get that link. So that, Johan, thanks for the question. Great question, but yeah, I'd need to actually brush up on my own knowledge there, to be honest. So you download your income statement in Excel, then on the next sheet you want to download the sales journal, next sheet the balance sheet. Can you do this? So is that from the union reports? Are you talking about here? Because yeah, guys, you can open an income there from the menu, go back, say balance sheet, and you can save all of this to my knowledge. But like the sales, they're different reports. So they're going to open in different Excel books. They're not going to open in the same book, and they're not going to save in the same book. That's probably something that you would have to combine. I don't actually think that it has that capability since the reports are actually different Excel books. So guys, there's a hidden page here where it pulls the information from Pastel into that book specifically. On the management pack, yeah, but it's income and balance sheet. Like this specifically said sales, and the sales would be in a completely separate book. So I don't think, like if you have a report written, a union report that they were talking about, that is customized and includes sales and everything, then yes. But I'm not sure if that requires a very specific report, or if it needs a report writer to set up a union report for you. As I said, guys, we're getting into customization here. And guys, we don't customize reports. We don't create new reports. We don't show you how to create the customized reports. You can import reports and stuff, but what's there is what's there, and that's generally what support helps with. We don't generally go into that. There is training on that, but we don't go into it specifically. I'll see how much I can do and what I can do. As I said, it's a little outside of my depth with the knowledge I have. I'm happy to research it, but guys, again, I'm not sure if that's something that I can train you on. There's certain training I'm allowed to do. There's certain training I'm actually also not allowed to do. So like I do get where Yuham was going with how do you create like Excel, you've got these things and then you link them back to like a union report. And guys, you do it in Report Writer, but I just need to check how to actually do that specifically, because basically I'm going to add a folder. So let's say custom reports. And from custom reports, I'm actually going to add a report. But in this case, so you would have the report open in Excel. And when you add the report, this is where you're going to add a description and where you're going to say standard or union. Okay, so I do actually remember this. In this case, when you go union report, you're going to enter the name. And then you're going to select it from the list. So actually, in response to the person who said, if you have this all on one page, can you do it? Yeah, you can. Here you've got your sales master, you can say your income statement, you can say your balance sheet. So guys, here it's going to select reports to add, and then you just click on OK, and you follow it that way. Okay, not as difficult as I thought it was. So yeah, create your folder, right click, add report, select standard or union, and from there make your selection. Give it a name and make your selection. So copy of sales, trial balance, and ledger transactions, for example. And there you go. That's how you create a union report. Johan, thank you for the question. I stand corrected. It's really not difficult, or it doesn't seem that difficult. You just need to obviously understand what's in the reports. But that's how you would do it. From what I can see. Okay, guys, that might be a very basic version. I hope that helps at least. So sorry, guys, it actually wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I just needed to remember what I was doing. But yeah, to the person who asked, how would I do that? Like that, you would create a union report. So you can standardize it. If there's specific information you guys need that isn't in that report, that's where you would need a report written, and then probably from that written report you could include it in a union report. So I do stand corrected, guys. Sorry about that. It wasn't something I researched, so I was just caught a bit off guard. Okay, so guys, in terms of following on YouTube, yeah, guys, you can absolutely follow on YouTube. To my knowledge, you just need to subscribe to the global channel, and then it should send you notifications. Like if you subscribe to my one, guys, I don't upload there anymore because I'm moving over to the standard one. the global one. So a lot of people, I had about 250 who were following me there. Unfortunately, guys, if you were, you all going to need to move to the global one. Okay, guys, just remember when you do select the union report, you must let the reports run into different worksheets. Otherwise, it's going to mess everything up. So guys, an output sheet is where it's running the stuff to. So basically an output sheet, this is telling you what it's running from what I understand. Again, guys, this is an overview. This needs to be in that webinar, guys. We're going outside of errors, and like I feel really bad, but I didn't prep for these specific things. So guys, I'm actually going to end this here because we're getting to the point of, hey, what's an overview on Sage Intelligence? We want to understand the actual ins and outs of that. And this was more about errors and getting those errors to work. I hope that you guys will understand that, but we really are getting outside of the realm of common errors here, guys. This is all stuff that belongs in the system, and we will do that. I probably should have done the overview of intelligence before, but last year I was specifically asked about errors, so I did errors, and then guys, you all specified that you really want to know Sage Intelligence in more detail. So guys, we will be running that next year, and we will go over it, and I know that seems really far away, but there's stuff that you're asking me that I do need to do that reverse in. And I do agree, this was in reverse order, guys. I do apologize. Like in hindsight, I'm like, I probably should have just said to everyone who signed up, hey guys, we're going to do an overview and then we'll do errors. But I felt bad since quite a lot of people signed up for errors. So guys, again, you can also go and ask on Sage City those specific things. Go, hey, what does this mean? I would strongly advise signing up for the Sage Intelligence training, and because they will also run through things and more in depth than what I am able or allowed to. But guys, I do apologize that there are some questions I just don't really have an answer to because I didn't prep for it. Otherwise, guys, I do hope that you have a fantastic day further. I think that I've answered most, if not all, of the questions that came through. Guys, if there is a question that you specifically do want me to try to answer, you can stick around. Otherwise, guys, those of you that are happy, you're welcome to log out. And hopefully I will see you at the next webinar. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I do hope that you learned something. And again, my apologies for the questions that I'm just unsure and not able to answer at this point in time. To those of you that did ask those, I will go and get those answers and come back to you before that overview webinar. Please bear that in mind. I'm not just going to leave you hanging. I will get you those answers, but there are some that I'm not 100% sure of. Otherwise, guys, have a fantastic day. Thank you so much. Guys, please just repost it to us so that we can see who still has a question, who's like, hey, can you try to answer this here? And guys, and with regards to what is the output sheet, it's exactly that. It's an output sheet. It's where it's pulling the information from, to my knowledge, unless I've misunderstood that. So, hey, I need to pull this information. This is the container. This is where I'm pulling this from. This is my output sheet, where the information is coming from, so that I can generate these reports. That's what it is. Okay, guys, so there are no further questions coming up at all. So I am going to end the session there. I do hope that you at least got something useful out of the session. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you at our future sessions. Ciao, ciao, guys.